I came up with the concept over the course of, I would say, 2 to 3 years with my co-writer Justin. We met working at the same day job together and quickly became friends and started talking about working on some short films together, and then we would go to lunch together and sort of brainstorm these ideas of doing our idea of doing a feature based on true stories and sort of basing it around true stories about myself in college. And we began writing that process, and then this female character was based on a series of Craigslist ads that we placed, and all it said was that we want crazy stories based around an apartment building, to sort of build this female character also based on true stories, but fabricated just from a bunch of different people. So we were going forward with that idea, but then we met Natalie West, who played Margaret in the movie, and when we got her attached, we actually had an opportunity to write the role for her. So it changed from being, this sort of 19-year-old female character to a 52-year-old spinster, and it changed a lot after that point. If I had to pick one, I would say the scene that takes place in a diner at the Breakfast Club, where Nate and James have an argument. I won't say too much about it if you haven't seen it, but it's everything about it was just really perfect. The day that we shot, the lighting, the background, the place we were shooting was perfect. The acting was great, and it has a really interesting end to it. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but that would be my favorite. Sure. I mean, as far as like inspiration for how I made the movie and like to make my projects, I would have to say the biggest inspiration is my friends' films that I watch and I'm close with, which has a lot of sort of natural, even improvised performances, which my previous 4 or 5 short films were fully improvised, and this was the first time that we actually had a full script to work on. But I tend to steer towards those sort of loose kind of slice of life type of projects, and even my own life, since it's based on the character Nate's loosely based on me, and then the next project that I'm writing now is also based on me younger, but still sort of based on true life. So those types of filmmakers and films are my inspiration and what I like to work with. Honestly, the reception of it has been tremendously positive, and the reviews that we've been getting from playing at the Siskel Center here in Chicago, as well as week run theatrically in New York, the reviews like in the New York Times and Roger Ebert have just been so positive. I mean, I didn't really expect to even get those types of, that sort of big exposure, and the fact that we did is great, but the fact that they're all extremely positive is quite a bonus, and something that I didn't expect. It was good. It is a lot different showing the movie to an audience here in Chicago versus anywhere else, because people that live here really know the city, and during our question and answer sessions after the screenings, they'll really ask specific questions about locations. And there's a scene where Margaret is driving to St. Louis, but in how it's edited, she's sort of driving south on Lakeshore and then north on Lakeshore and then south again. And people that, because of where you see Navy Pier and the fireworks and things, I think someone from Chicago notices that a lot more than someone that lives somewhere else. So it's interesting to show audiences here and their response versus other people that live other places. Well, the movie actually got bought for worldwide distribution, actually before we even screened at a festival or anywhere, by Breaking Glass Pictures. And the DVD is coming out August 28th, and on Facebook there's a coupon for $5 off. I think it's like $15 after that. So you can go there and get that to see it. It's actually out now on iTunes and Amazon streaming, hopefully Netflix soon. So it'll be widely available very soon. Yeah, so if you can find the movie on Netflix, and it's not available yet for streaming or DVD, but if you vote it 5 stars, that helps it tremendously. And if you want to go the extra mile and actually just write a positive review, that helps even more because Netflix sees that, and the more positive feedback they get from a movie, the more likely they will be to put it on there for streaming. Yeah. I mean, I watched Roseanne growing up, so I was already a big fan of Natalie West. And Tyler had seen in The Wise Kids, a movie he did a year prior, and I loved that movie and his performance in that. Gabby Hoffman, certainly, I was a fan of, growing up. Who wasn't? So it was really special to be able to work with a cast that I loved so much even before meeting them on my first, finished feature. So. Well, we used Kickstarter because we needed more money, and I had used it before for a couple small projects where we've asked for, maybe $1,000, which where we sort of knew we would probably get it. But with Kickstarter, if you don't meet your goal, you get nothing. You get $0. So we actually did two. One before we started shooting, which was $12,000, and we were like, well, if we get it, it'll just help the project. If we don't, we're gonna probably still be okay, but we could really use it. And we met that goal, and then after we finished, we realized we needed a little bit more money, so we did a finishing funds Kickstarter for $6,000, and got that as well. So yeah, I was pleased that we actually met the goal. For a little while there, it was looking like it was going, maybe not getting it, but we ended up getting it, and it was, it helped us make it all that better.
So you've done a couple shorts in the past, so how is that process different than a full length feature?
Well, the obvious thing would be just the time involved, but with my previous shorts, it's been just a bare bones crew. Myself, my cameraman, maybe a sound person. That's usually me too, holding the boom, and then our actors. So it was just a handful of people, and then there was no script, so it was fully improvised. And then, so with the feature, we had a full script, we had a full crew, so there wasn't really anyone, well, there were people doing more than one job, but, I wasn't the sound person. We had someone dedicated to that, and people just to fill in where we needed them. So just having more help that was needed was the biggest difference, I would say. I actually prefer directing, but I love writing and acting as well. But if I could choose one of those things to do forever, it would be directing. Sure, yeah, the next project I'm co-writing right now with Justin, who we wrote Nathan Margaret with, is based on me in junior high and high school in small town Illinois, where I was the only guy on the girls' volleyball team, and that really happened. And so we're basing the story on that and sort of branching out. It's still in the baby stages right now, but we're figuring out all the plots and sort of my struggle, to try and go to college in Chicago and having to go to a smaller college, a smaller university, being interested in movies at that young of an age, and sort of just slice of life of growing up small town Illinois, and also being on the girls volleyball team. So yeah.